Hey everyone, this is Trig Day 3. So today I'm going to be giving you a trig function, and then I'm going to be asking you to find the other 5. So for our first question here, I'm going to give you if sine of theta equals 3 over 5, what are the 5 other trig functions? So the first thing that you want to do here is you want to label what these sides of the triangle are. We kind of want to go backwards. We want to put this information into a triangle. So remember that sine is our opposite over our hypotenuse. So I'm going to draw a triangle, and it doesn't matter if your triangle looks nice. We're just putting it back into a triangle, and then I'm picking where I want my angle. You can always set up your triangle to look like this. Okay, so my opposite side is going to be a cross. So 3 is going to go over here, and then 5 is my hypotenuse. So that's going to go up top. So I only have 2 sides here. I need to find the third side in order to figure out all of my other information. So I'm going to put an X there. So now this question is just like what we were doing for trig day 1, and we're just solving it. So I need to use my Pythagorean theorem. So X here is my adjacent side. So opposite, hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent. So I need to find my adjacent side. So I'm going to call that A. So we'll say A squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared, and we're just solving this. So x squared plus 9 equals 25. I'm subtracting 9 from both sides. So x squared equals 16 and x equals 4. So my adjacent side is 4. So now I have my triangle all set up, and I just need to find my other trig function. So I already have sine. So now I need cosine. And cosine is my adjacent over my hypotenuse, so that's 4 over 5. And then I have tangent. And tangent is my opposite over adjacent, so that's going to be 3 over 4. And now I go to my reciprocal trig functions. So I've got sine already, so the next easiest one is going to be to do cosecant. Because remember, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So I flip that, and I've got 5 over 3. Cosine and secant go together. So secant is just the reciprocal of cosine, so it's 5 over 4. And then cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, so it's just 4 over 3. And then we're done with question number 1. So the only extra thing you have to do here is once I give you the trig function, you just need to create your own triangle. And then you're doing the exact same thing that we did for trigs day 1 and 2. So you're finding your other side using Pythagorean theorem, and then you're just filling out your ratios using SOHCAHTOA and then the reciprocal of those. Okay, so question number 2. And again, we're doing the same thing each time. Make your triangle, and then find your third side, and then fill out your ratio. So let's say cosine of theta equals 9 over 15. So again, doing the exact same thing, make your triangle. Here's my angle, okay? So cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So I've got 9 goes down here because that's my adjacent side. 15 goes over here because that's my hypotenuse. So I'm missing my opposite side here. So again, I'm doing Pythagorean theorem. I've got x squared plus 9 squared equals 15 squared. And remember, the only thing that really matters here is that the 2 legs of the triangle are on the left, your opposite and your adjacent, and then your hypotenuse always has to be the c value. So I've got x squared plus 81 equals 225. And then I have to subtract 81 from both sides. So 225 minus 81 gives me 144. Take a square root of both sides, and I get x equals 12. So now I have all my sides, and that's the opposite. Okay, now I have all my sides, and I just need to fill in the rest of my trig values. So I have cosine already, so let's do sine next. And again, the order of these doesn't really matter. It's just we tend to start with sine. And then, so sine is our opposite over hypotenuse. So we've got 12 over 15. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 12 over 9. Okay, and then cosine goes along with secant. So secant is 15 over 9. Sine goes with cosecant, which is going to be 15 over 12. And then cotangent goes along with tangent, and it's going to be 9/12. Okay, so again, once you set up your triangle, super easy, same thing we've been doing. It's just you have to remember which side belongs to which. Okay, let's do tangent next. So I've got tangent of theta equals 5/12. So again, set up your triangle. So tangent is our opposite over our adjacent. So I've got opposite over here. I've got adjacent on the bottom, and I'm missing my hypotenuse. So again, Pythagorean theorem, 5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. And you can just plug that straight into your calculator. You don't have to show all the steps for that. But if you are solving, please show me those steps. So I'm in my calculator, 5 squared plus 12 squared, and that gives me 169 equals c squared. Take a square root of both sides, and the square root of that is 13. So c equals 13. And there's my last side. And now we are just writing our trig functions. So sine opposite over hypotenuse, 5/13. And then we already have tangent, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 12/13. I have tangent, so next I'm going to go to cotangent. Cotangent is the opposite of tangent, so it's going to be 12/5. Sine is the opposite of cosecant, and cosecant is going to be 13/5. And then cosine goes with secant, so it's going to be 13/12. Okay, so those are my answers there. Okay, we're going to do one last one together, and that'll be it for today. And our last one is going to be cosecant. So this one's a little more difficult because it's one of our reciprocal trig functions. So remember, cosecant goes with sine. And since sine is opposite over hypotenuse, that means that this is hypotenuse over opposite. So still same thing. List what your sides are, make your triangle, all that good stuff. It's just our ratio is a little trickier to figure out, but not much. So my opposite side is 6, my hypotenuse is 10, and I am missing my adjacent side. So I have to solve for that. I've got 6 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. We've got 36 plus x squared equals 100. Okay, and then 64 square root, and I get 8. So I got all my sides. Now I'm just writing out my trig functions. So we'll go with sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So 6/10, which is what we had here too. We could have said cosecant, sine, opposites. So I can just go from there, or I can go from the triangle. It doesn't matter which. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 8/10. And then tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 6/8. I already have cosecant with sine, so we'll go to secant next. Secant is the opposite of cosine, so I've got 10/8. And then tangent is the opposite of cotangent, so I've got 8/6. Okay, and that's it. So remember, you first make your triangle so you can see what you're missing. Then use Pythagorean theorem to solve for that third side. And then once you have your triangle all set up, you're just using those numbers to write your ratios. So go ahead and check out your homework for day 3.